Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today we've got a very special report. It seems like Pokemon Champions, we have a massive potential leak for this game detailing everything that's going to be in it, from gameplay modes, from battle modes, the amount of Pokemon that are going to be in the game. There's so much information in this leak, and I'm excited to get into it. My name is DustyGogoat. I'm also joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
But enough with the formalities. So the whole story with this is in May, as well as, so there's actually two rumors. There was two posts, one in May, one in, I think it's June. And basically both of these things accurately predicted something that was in the new Pokemon Champions trailer that we received during the Pokemon Presents. And both of these things are now, because they were posted ahead of time and got something right, and both have information, share information. There's kind of a corroboration going on, right? So what we want to do today is show you guys what is in these rumors. I think, we're still going to say at this point that this is just a probable leak or a potential leak. I think what is important to know is, even though this thing predicted 1.5 things correctly, some of this other information could be thrown in here. Some of this information could be falsely put in here to kind of maybe cover the leaker's tracks, right? We've seen this in the past. If a leak gets something correct, it's not always a 100% correct. But there is so much information in here. And Hidden Power, we did report on this months ago when these things dropped in May and in June. So you can definitely follow us on Twitter for any sort of updates. But let's get into this, guys. Let's cover this first rumor first. It's honestly kind of insane. There's just like so much information in here. Okay. 350 Pokemon estimated at launch, more to be added each new season. And that's maybe like a third of the Pokedex?
So Scarlet and Violet's Pokedex is 400, but then I am also thinking we do know that Mega Evolution is going to be in the game.
Yeah.
And so if you factor in Charizard as one deck slot,
yeah,
but that's actually, two more Pokemon like models, right? Because Charizard X and Y. So if you add all the Megas in, which I think there's like about 50, I think it's like 48 megas. Then that would bring it right at up 400,
And I don't know if you're
ZAs.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. We haven't even considered this. We haven't had this discussion on the main podcast, but like, can you battle with the lower stages of Pokemon? Can you choose to battle with Charmander and Charmeleon? There
Pikachu at least.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Think about that.
Sure.
So like
Pikachu's in there, but it's like it's Pikachu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
I would assume yes. They're not going to hold back their lines.
Eviolite Pokemon typically, like Porygon 2 is a menace.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
So like it's a legitimate strategy. So I would think, like, I'm under the assumption if Charizard's in the game, Charmander and Charmeleon are. But you are right that since this isn't like technically a like mainline Pokemon game, it could be, like one of those scenarios. Like there are other spin-off games. I can't think of them, but there are other spin-off games where like Charizard might be in the game, but Charmander and Charmeleon are not, or whatever.
So 350 Pokemon is about a third of all Pokemon in existence. So that's a pretty good chunk to start this game off with. We got to blaze through this though, because there's so much information in here. Okay, so it says this will be a free digital download on the Switch 1 and 2 and mobile. We know this, but actually there was some information that said like the Switch 2 is actually going to get a native version of Pokemon Champions. So I don't think this like corroborates in that way. That's not a proof of evidence.
Still have not seen that. I don't know where that's coming from, but
I can send you the text. I can
still waiting.
I will send you the link right after this. I'll send that to you.
Yeah, please do, because I actually am curious about that.
It says that the release date is January 23rd, 2026, and I think right here this is one of the pieces of information that was, I think I consider this a half prediction. I think a lot of people were speculating that Champions was going to come out in 2025 at the end of this year, and we did get a reveal, or the confirmation that Champions will release in 2026. So to see such a specific date is interesting, because if that doesn't actually come to fruition, then we could probably throw this whole thing out. Who knows?
Oddly enough, that is a Friday, and it looks like they drop games now on Thursday. But this is different from a normal Switch game, So maybe it doesn't have to obey the rules, especially since this is saying it would be free. And if it's free, like, do they care when they drop it, you know?
They probably,
Pokemon
they care.
Came out.
Yeah, Pokemon Friends came out on a Tuesday morning, so.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of thing.
Yeah, Pokemon Home is compatible at launch. That's good to hear, so I can actually go into my home and actually bring those Pokemon into Champions. It says ranked mode will have seasons that last 2 to 3 months with regulation rules. Lumi, how does that relate to the current VGC seasons?
I think the idea that this is expressing, because later it mentions that VGC will move to Champions. So it's just the way right now VGC works is regulations run. They actually sometimes run a little bit longer than this, 2 to 3 months. But every so often, the regulation changes. Maybe now they're adding in restricted Pokemon. Or usually it starts out with like only base Pokemon, not legendaries, not even sub-legends, not even paradoxes, and then like the next season added paradoxes, and then the next season added the sub-legend, and then the next season added home compatible, you know. So I imagine that that's what it's saying, is it will change its seasons like that every few months. And then with that, they'll add Pokemon to fit that season. So like if they're like, hey, this is a Dynamax season, well, now, you know, we're adding the however many Pokemon have a Gigantamax form into the game or whatever.
I gotta say something on this point, because there was a lot of people, because people are trying to poke holes in this, obviously, to see if it's real or fake. Like, we would respectively do the same thing. The problem with this one is a lot of people are saying that normal VGC lasts way longer and they would never do this. I think that this could be even just in Champions itself, like Champions' own game that only lasts 2 to 3 months, like their own regulations in the game of Champions, not in VGC itself. And with that being said, they could always change it, and this could be changed later on. So it's very up there in the sky.
I think that is a good point. And you know what, for listeners, we are going to be doing a full breakdown of all this in the Pokemon Champion, the implications for Pokemon Champions next week during one of our live stream podcasts. So we're going to blaze through this just to get you guys the information, but we will be doing a full breakdown next week. It's been a busy week with the Pokemon Presents, but we just got to get through this information.
We have many thoughts.
So both ranked and casual modes are available, plus a new Battle Frontier-like mode with various challengers and tiers. My ears perked up at this because one of my main criticisms with Champions was that everything that they were showing us seemed to be, I don't know, as a casual person, pretty boring and irrelevant. That's my perspective. I'm sure, I know VGC heads are excited. Competitive people are excited, and maybe that's who they were trying to cater towards. But seeing that there is like a true, I don't know, like themed campaign that I can work through, or Battle Frontier with returning. They don't say returning; they just say various challengers and tiers.
They actually later do say returning.
They do, yeah.
So,
anyways, my ears perked up on this, and I think this is really cool.
I think you can kind of add some credit there too from the last trailer. We pointed out before in our like breakdown that you can see a background when they're selecting your Pokemon.
Yeah,
and there's a world, and I just think that's interesting because it implies that there's a region,
it's a real place,
lore behind Champions, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just literally like you're in a battle stadium, no explanation, don't worry about just battle. There is like a region it's set in, and you know, a world it's set in, and that kind of makes me think, why do all that if there's not some kind of single player mode?
Yeah. Also, people have been crying for a battle facility, factory, whatever, to come back forever. So it's just like, this is the battle game. Why not bring a Battle Frontier like back into this game? It makes a lot of sense.
Some challenges, those are a lot of fun. Let us know if you want a Battle Frontier in the comments. Some challengers get harder as you go. Your opponent's Pokemon will level up as you progress. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Rental teams are available, but only in casual mode, not available in ranked mode. That also makes sense. Yeah, obviously, I think you can use rental teams in VGC ranked.
Yes, you can on the online Battle Stadium. Yeah.
Okay.
There might be a difference between like actually getting the Pokemon, like receiving them in Champions and putting them on your team versus like a full rental team is what
there is. A rental team would be like so in Champions, it's Champions, the AI has built something, but with like a rental team, it's I can make a team and post the code, and you can use the team I built. So it's like players being able to share the team.
All right, cool.
There'll be special modes like level 50, level 100, and gimmick challenges, for example, a Dynamax-only challenge or type-specific challenges. That's cool. One challenge will be like a Nuzlocke, sort of. If a Pokemon faints, it can't be used again until you beat a certain tier. You can't heal your Pokemon until you have won 10 consecutive battles. Every 10th battle will be a gym leader or a familiar NPC. If your whole team faints before you can heal, you'll have to start over.
I love it.
Yeah, obviously this is like described by a third party who's like describing this feature and they're using the word Nuzlocke, but I don't think the Pokemon company would ever acknowledge the Nuzlocke. I think all this is it honestly is just, to me, what the Elite Four is, like that Elite Four challenge when you don't have items.
Yeah.
That's all it really is. But that's cool. Essentially we have that challenge in a competitive format. The NPCs and gym leaders will change each time. That's cool. The fact that they called them gym leaders is really cool. Soul has this theory about this game taking place maybe in the Galar region, and in that region there are a lot of gym leaders at various I guess like rankings, and gym leaders kind of cycle out to maybe see that there's a whole pool of gym leaders is really fun.
Could you imagine it feeling like a mini Galar remake because of that?
Not a remake.
This is our Legends Galar. We got it, boys.
It's kind of crazy.
No, that is cool. Challenges with special rewards unavailable in the store will take place, and then it says rewards include clothes for your trainer, stadium, held items, and Pokemon clothes. I love that one. That was something that I kind of predicted and was hoping for. I'm like, I'll spend real money on that, like just to deck. I'll spend $10 to deck out my specific Pokemon that I'm always going to use in a battle. That sounds awesome. I don't know. That just seems like it. That is something we'll go into it in the full breakdown, but like that is something where I'm like, that elevates champions above anything that I can do in the mainline games. So that's really cool for me. You'll earn in-game currency by playing ranked. Did I read that already? Ranked, casual, or Battlefront tier matches. So that's the Battlefront tier being referenced again. You'll also earn victory points, VP for every win. Currency and VP are different. So right there, that is the point. That feels like a prediction for, like, they called victory points. That was announced in the Pokemon Champions trailer.
It's very specific.
It is specific. Yeah.
They even say VP. I think it's VP on the website as well.
Yeah, someone could have said they could have said battle points. They could have said like tree
champion points.
They could have not even named it. They could have just said like there's two types of currency. One does this, the other does that. But they said VP, victory points.
Which before we get to it, I do want to just, because it's not very clear when you read this, but they are saying that there's two types of currencies, and only one was officially revealed now, which is the VP points. People are getting confused and saying that VP points cannot be a paid thing, but they're saying that there's another currency, and they just call it currency here. They don't specifically name it. The only one they specifically name is the VP points.
Yeah.
So two different ones.
I believe they do end up naming it in the second post we'll look at as well. But yeah, so the idea, just for people who are confused, because I've seen a lot of confusion on this, VP cannot be purchased. The other currency can be purchased, and that currency, it seems like, is mainly cosmetic.
Yeah.
Right.
VP can be spent on healing items and general held items, while currency can be spent on stadium skins, clothes, and exclusive held items. So more like permanent things versus the VP being able to help out with things that are more of utilitarian.
The cosmetic like held items, I don't know what those would be exactly, but I'm assuming that they would not affect anything that you do like in battle, essentially.
Yeah,
I think that they're cosmetic.
Yeah, like Pikachu wearing a hat,
Oh yeah, my Pikachu needs to be. You know what I love in the Legends ZA trailer? I love that you can character customize. So your character has headphones on. Love that so much.
Yeah. There you go. You can have a Go-Goat with headphones.
Yeah, with AirPods. You can also buy currency with real money. We'll talk about that on the full show. There won't be a competitive battle mode in Generation 10. Okay, this is all right. So this last line feels like conjecture, and just kind of like an implication that the writer of this is kind of making up. Again, we'll talk about this on the full show, but it says there won't be a competitive battle mode in Generation 10. This will be Pokemon Champions will be the replacement. This is so that they can make the mainline games, Gen 10, larger, more expansive, and improve overall gameplay and graphics. I feel like this is so unsubstantiated. We've talked about it on the show. We're going to break this down next week. So subscribe if you're new. And we got a brand new... so there's a whole nother rumor to go over now. That's the end of... I don't know if you guys actually have any opinions on that you want to just mention quickly.
I mean, the Gen 10 thing is very realistic in my mind. It's not them saying that there's not going to be a competitive Pokemon on Gen 10, or turn-based battles. There's not going to be turn-based battle. There will be turn-based battles in the Gen 10 game. It's just saying that there wouldn't be competitive, types of play.
Yeah.
Well, but even could mean player versus player will be on there, and they might just mean like literally competitive battling, like VGC will no longer be on Gen 10 and will be. They could mean that. It's kind of unclear.
It would be to make the game better in the sense of not changing the battle system exactly, but like doing all kinds of graphic updates, performance updates, focusing more on the game story, focusing more on the game itself.
So again, we'll go. That's great. Yeah. I won't rebuttal. I'll just say my piece, and then we can before we spend another 30 minutes on this. We'll talk about it next week. But for me, I don't see a relation between the VGC mode of battle and the amount of assets and time and effort and money and people it takes to make that work. I don't see how that would in any way affect the scale of Generation 10 as an RPG. I don't see the relation. If you just remove VGC, I just don't see how that affects the rest of the game to make it more expansive.
I actually agree with you on that. I
make the game larger.
See it either.
It says improved gameplay and graphics. I'm like, you could have all those things and then just make it compatible online as well. Like I don't see the relation. It feels like a wish list from a fan.
Right. That was the one point for me as well that was a little sus, but I do think that it's just like not having to worry about balancing the Pokemon in the sense of VGC or anything like that, and like held the items that you have to get to use, EVs and all this the other stuff. That's what
I could see that. So they can make the decks like truly a, if Gen 10 is set in hypothetically Italy, they can make the decks a truly Italian decks and not worry about, you know what, will putting this Pokemon in without this Pokemon completely break the competitive of this game.
Right.
Yeah, but I can actually kind of see that.
All the balancing goes on in Champions. That's essentially what I'm thinking. Like all of the competitive ideas like that.
Here's the thing though, they said that for Sword and Shield, and that game was not like there's no they don't balance these games for competitive. I don't think that again is related to like the game being more expansive or whatever. I don't know. Let's talk about it next week. Let's talk about it next week. I just think it's a completely different point.
This is a good teaser for next week. Make sure you're subbed.
All right, we got another. So the other rumor was posted on Tuesday, 17th June 2025. This was about a month ago, over a month ago before the presents. It says, I don't believe... Okay, so this is the post, Pokemon Champions. I don't believe IVs can be adjusted. It isn't mentioned in the tutorial text, and I suspect that they just forced the max value on everything. EVs can be adjusted at any time, and they seem to have simplified it. And this is kind of what we saw in the trailer. It seemed like there were certain Pokemon, or maybe it was on the website, it seemed like certain Pokemon just didn't have IVs. Everything was just set to... IVs were just gutted.
Selection box, like they showed us the selection box for abilities, natures, EVs, moves, but they didn't show us the selection box for IVs. And I believe you can do a calculation on Gardevoir stats and like conclude that they've been maxed. So people have made the assumption that they're just automatically maxed, which is so great, by the way. That saves so much time for all the like trick room breeders having to get the no good speed IV, and the no good physical attack IV, so foul play doesn't do as much. It's nice.
It's one of the things that takes up the most time. I think if they cut it out completely, it doesn't hurt. It just helps. So.
Yeah. Just like removes the need to breed.
Yeah, it's just like finding all these, you like randomly trying to find these Pokemon. It's tough. It's a roll the dice kind of thing. So
like the Enamorous situation, that was a big deal.
Oh, sure, for competitive, for legendaries. Yeah, because
IVs weren't in Legends Arceus, and I imagine because of that they may not be in Legends EA. Like it's a different system. So the issue was in order to see Enamorous's IVs, which its Therium form works really well in Trick Room, you would have to send it into Home and then look at its IVs. But the issue is once you do that, you've saved the game. So if your Enamorous doesn't have the right IVs, you have to restart Legends Arceus, play through the entire story, do the plot with the Landorus, Tornadus, and Thundurus to get access. Like, it's miserable.
That's crazy. And that's why I don't play competitive. There is a campaign mode with 2 paths. Held items, natures, and specific Pokemon are gated behind different progression points. The text mentions the Pokemon did not outright say legendary or mythical, meaning it may be possible that they will gate high usage or more popular Pokemon behind it. It is made clear that you will still have to have campaign mode gated Pokemon in Pokemon Home to use them. Interesting. Campaign mode battles sometimes allow you to bring your own team, and sometimes you're given a preset team. These battles can be singles, doubles, triples, rotation, inverse, type exclusive, raid, and possibly more. We only saw in the trailer this week singles and doubles, just for the record. I do not know how difficult the battles are, but you have only 5 daily attempts before you will have to spend one of the 2 in-game currencies for more. Yeah, this is where it turns into like a gacha. You cannot switch between paths freely. One path must be finished first. The new campaign mode paths will have new additions with each new competitive season that is added. Do you want me to stop there? Do you guys have anything to say?
I will say, on the note about singles, doubles, triples, rotations, all that, there is if I can give them some credit, there is a chance that they just know the future of this game, so they know triple and rotation inverse will be added later, but aren't there at launch.
Yeah.
Because it does say on the website, it doesn't say only singles and doubles, but it does say, like, you can choose to play in singles or double battles, which does make me feel like they're telling us it's singles and doubles,
Right. Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts because it's very complex. I do understand it's like the gotcha part about it, which makes sense if it's a free-to-play game. Like, it really does actually...
They've got to have those elements.
Yeah, it sounds like something that they would do, but it also is super complicated. The way I'm reading these leaks is like this person knows the plans of champions, because not all this is going to be at the beginning. I mean, this part will probably be, but not I would love for doubles and triples, or I guess doubles is there, triples, rotation.
Yeah, you're saying some of these features might be slowly added later to the game throughout the year.
Right. Sure, they know that, some Pokemon will be added later on. Like, they also, in the last post, they mentioned Dynamax, and I've actually always thought that Dynamax won't be there at launch. I mean, I could be wrong. I have no inside knowledge, but,
Yeah. There will be seasonal events. They will have extra cosmetics for your characters, Pokeballs, and entrance effects. I mean, this just feels like Pokemon Unite, like Pokemon Go. And
this is the typical model, though. This is the typical model.
And I'm low-key not even upset about it. Like, I've been saying I don't want to play Pokemon Champions because nothing they have shown us seems exciting, but these things do seem exciting. This is like, yeah, I'll tune in. I'll tune in once a month to get a couple battles in so I can have enough currency to, put a fedora on my Scizor. Sure, let's do it. All right, these require you to spend a daily attempt for each progression point, like the campaign paths. Victory points are a free currency earned through tournaments and other events. Challenger points are a paid currency. There it is, CP.
Yes, that makes
Challenger points.
Very specific and it makes sense. It's like the victory points are for, you don't have to do play to win. You can play the game with victory points. And then the challenger points are the ones that you pay for, that you can get cosmetic wear, like all the stuff that we were just talking about.
Players will be able to set up rental teams with 2 privacy modes, either making the team public to all or friends only. These teams are restricted to friendly matches. They cannot be used in tournaments, seasonal events, or campaign mode battles that allow selecting their own Pokemon. Friendly battles are available at any time, and all the modes available in campaign mode are available there as long as you've played it once.
That makes sense. That's pretty standard for a game. Make you do something to unlock doing that with your friends,
Yeah, so I'm getting from this, we have one really strong prediction that was correct, which is the VP. And both of these posts guessed the victory points correctly, so that's really great. And then there's like a half point I would give these rumors for guessing 2016.
Or 2026.
Or 2026.
Yeah. Whoa, you just went back in time.
2026, and maybe, and so maybe that's like, honestly, I would maybe give that like a quarter point for 2026. It's kind of an easy, it's just a guess, and they didn't even get it accurate.
I was guessing 2026. I ain't a leaker, I was guessing late 2025, early 2026. So.
And then the other thing is that the IVs can be adjusted. or the IVs can't be adjusted. And
cannot, yeah.
I would honestly give that like maybe less, another quarter of a point, because I'm like,
right.
As a
I'd
competitive
give it at
person,
least half.
Yeah. Okay. So they're like just shy of 2 points for these rumors being correct, or I guess each of them, because they both guessed victory points and then got a half point each. They're both about Anyways, so listen, the whole point of this. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing a full breakdown on this, on the implications of champions. But at the end of the day, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the legitimacy of this league. How likely do you think it really is? Like, did you see anyone guessing victory points ahead of the presents? We're likely to get new information about champions soon. And on this channel, I've just been going through the emotions of like not really being that excited for champions, and I think people are overhyping it. But there are a lot of things in here that do seem a little bit more exciting, right? As a casual fan.
I'd love to know too, before we log off, what y'all's validity assessment of this is. Like, how y'all feeling about this post? You think it's legit? You think it's not?
I'm like, when
are you asking us or the commenters?
Yeah, I meant the comments as well, but I was actually asking you.
I thought you were just repeating me. Yeah.
No.
No, I would say that when I first read it, I was like, this is totally real, because that's really hard to guess and it's got all this stuff. But after reading it multiple times, it does seem a little fanficky, where there's just like a lot. There's a
gym
lot
leaders.
There's so much stuff. And there's so much stuff that we're reading here that we didn't see in the trailer. And the trailer looks like kind of not finished really. So it's just like, how could they fit all this into that game that we saw? That's where I'm like 60-40 on it, which is like 60% real, actually, because I really do. A part of me believes that they have these kind of aspirations for champions. So I'm just, I'm kind of on a little bit of copium, but I think it's more real than not real.
I think all the things in here that would make it feel like a fan fiction is really just the writer. Like when they say Nuzlocke, when they say Gym Leader, when they say Battlefront tier-like mode, I think they're just illustrating the vibe of some of these modes with terms that we're familiar with, so we can imagine what that would be like in our mind. And if you remove all those buzzwords, there's a little part of my brain that makes this a little bit less exciting, just because the buzzwords are helping me, they're triggering memories. But it does make it a little bit more realistic. And again, they got the victory points correct. However, even if I could say like 100% they knew something and they got it, I would still only anticipate 50% of this, all of this information to be correct. Or actually seen.
They can always lie, you can have some info and then throw in some crap. You can have some info and then also have some wrong info. Like we've seen that from Koo, where he's gotten stuff right and he's gotten stuff wrong.
We've seen that from all sorts of leakers. They'll predict something and it feels good, and then we still have never gotten a water or an ice type Arcanine. There's never been a psychic Machamp. Like, come on. Like, where's
our Unova remakes?
I know, we're Pokemon Stars. give me a break. So
this is also a good point that things can change too. So like whoever had this information back in May, it could have changed by now as well.
Yeah. So. So I'm looking forward to doing a full breakdown on this. I held back quite a bit. Next week we'll be live streaming full coverage of this on our live podcast, HP Live. So subscribe if you want to watch that. And then also on Monday, for our Patreon and YouTube channel member supporters, on Monday we are doing and what day is that? July 29th? 28th. July 28th, we're going to be doing a live call-in show within our secret Discord. If you're a Patreon member or a YouTube channel member, you can actually join the Discord and call up and give us your thoughts, your predictions, your theories on this or anything else. Pokemon Legends ZA, and anything else, Generation 10, whatever you want to talk about, you can give us a call and be on the podcast next week.
Come talk to us.
So, let us know what you guys think about this leak and its credibility, and keep it locked on Hidden Power Podcast. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.